Deep in the woods, a mysterious sorceress discovers Dora and uses her magic to heal her body. In an instant, the years fall away. Dora rises as a stunning young maiden, with flowing hair and flawless skin. Our story begins in the grand kingdom of Longtrellis, where a mighty king and his queen live in splendor. To outsiders, they seem blessed with wealth and power, but behind the palace walls, there is a deep emptiness. The queen longs for a child, yet she suffers from a strange condition that makes her barren. Her days are filled with sorrow, and nothing, not music, not riches, not even her husband's affection, can lift her spirits. The king, desperate to ease her pain, summons the finest physicians and healers from across the realm. One by one they examine her, and one by one they fail. No cure, no hope. To distract her, the king even invites circus performers to the palace, hoping laughter might heal what medicine cannot. But when the queen sees a pregnant acrobat, something inside her snaps. Her jealousy erupts into rage. She smashes mirrors, throws objects, and retreats into grief. That very night, when the castle is quiet, a shadowy figure slips inside. A necromancer. He claims he can give the queen the child she so desperately desires. The king, skeptical, reminds him that countless charlatans have made the same promise. But the necromancer insists he is different. It is possible, he says, but only if you are willing to pay the price. The king asks what this price is, and the necromancer gives his chilling answer. A sea monster lurks in the waters beyond the kingdom. If the king slays it and brings back its heart, the queen may eat it and conceive a child. But there are conditions. The heart must be cooked by a virgin, and for the gift of life to be granted, a life must also be taken. Nature, he warns, always demands balance. Despite the ominous warning, the king agrees. At dawn, he rides out with his men. Soon, he finds the monster, a grotesque leviathan rising from the depths. The battle is fierce. The king manages to pierce its hide and rip out the heart, but the monster wounds him mortally. Bleeding and broken, he returns with the heart, only to die shortly afterward. The queen, blinded by desire, feels no grief. Her husband's sacrifice is a price she accepts. She orders her servants to prepare the heart at once. A virgin maid is chosen for the task, but as she cooks, something strange stirs within her. She begins to sweat, tremble, and soon she too is with child. The queen consumes the heart, and as the necromancer foretold, she becomes pregnant as well. Months pass, and both women give birth on the very same day. The queen bears a boy named Elias, and the maid gives birth to Jonah. The boys look so alike they could be twins, both with pale skin and white hair, a mark of their uncanny origin. Years pass. The two boys grow inseparable, bound by a brotherly love stronger than blood. But the queen cannot bear it. She despises Jonah, the son of a servant, and fears that her royal heir Elias is too close to him. Again and again she warns Elias to stay away, but the prince refuses. His bond with Jonah is unbreakable. The queen's anger boils over. She threatens the maid, warning that if Jonah is not kept away from her son, both mother and child will be banished. Still, the boys continue their secret meetings. Jonah, tired of the queen's hatred, finally decides to leave. Before he goes, he slashes open a tree, and from the wound, clear water flows. "Watch this spring," he tells Elias. "If it turns red, you'll know my life is in danger. If it stays clear, I live." Elias is devastated, but he lets his brother go. Time passes, and one day, the spring turns blood red. Elias knows Jonah is in peril. Without a word to his mother, he sets out on a journey to save him. He tracks Jonah through forests and villages, eventually learning that Jonah vanished while hunting. Elias presses deeper into the wilderness until he hears a terrible cry. In a cave, Jonah lies wounded, and above him looms a monstrous winged creature. Without hesitation, Elias draws his sword and strikes it down. Only then does the truth reveal itself. The creature he killed is none other than his mother, the queen, transformed by the necromancer's final bargain. For life to be given, life must be taken, and she had offered her own. Elias is left shattered. He has saved Jonah, but at the cost of his own mother's life. The tale closes with Elias, now a man and heir to the throne, ascending as king of Longtrellis. His rule begins not with celebration, but but with the weight of sacrifice, love, and the terrible price of desire. Our second tale shifts to another kingdom, where a different ruler spends his days drowning in wine and pleasure. This king has wealth, power, and countless women at his side, but none of it satisfies him. He longs for a queen, someone whose beauty can match his own vanity. Not far from the palace, two elderly sisters live in seclusion. Their names are Dora and Emma. They are unmarried, past their youth, and bitter about the lives they never had. To the world, they are old and withered, but their voices remain strangely sweet and youthful. One morning, the king hears Dora singing through her window, and he is instantly captivated. He believes such a beautiful voice must belong to a young maiden. Desire sparks inside him. Without hesitation, he approaches their home and demands to see the woman behind the song. The sisters panic. If the king sees them as they truly are, wrinkled and gray, he'll mock them or worse. Thinking quickly, Dora calls through the door, pretending to be shy. She asks the king to return in a week, claiming she will feel more prepared then. The king, impatient but intrigued, agrees. For the next 7 days, the sisters obsess over how to make themselves appear young. They try every trick they can imagine. Dora soaks her hands in herbs, hoping to smooth her skin. Emma even chews her finger for days, until it softens into something fresh and pink. When the king returns, Dora presents her sister's finger as her own. The king sees only that youthful hand and is convinced. This must be the beauty he desires. He grows impatient and demands to see her face. But Dora insists on one condition: the room must be completely dark. The king, blinded by lust, agrees. That night, he takes Dora into his bedchamber, believing her to be a radiant young woman. But when morning comes, sunlight reveals the truth. The king wakes to find an old, wrinkled woman beside him. Shock turns to fury. Feeling deceived, he orders his guards to throw her from the palace window. Dora plummets into the forest below, broken and abandoned. But fate is not finished with her. Deep in the woods, a mysterious sorceress discovers Dora and uses her magic to heal her body. In an instant, the years fall away. Dora rises as a stunning young maiden, with flowing hair and flawless skin. The next day, the king encounters her while hunting. He does not recognize her as the same woman he cast out. Enchanted by her beauty, he brings her back to his palace and declares her his queen. Dora accepts, stepping into the life she always dreamed of, but her thoughts drift to her sister. Emma, shocked when she sees Dora reborn as a young bride, demands to know her secret. Dora, cruel and mocking, tells her she simply peeled off her old skin. Emma takes the words literally. Desperate to reclaim youth, she goes to a blacksmith and begs him to strip away her aging flesh. The man, either heartless or foolish, agrees. He binds her and peels her alive. Emma stumbles back to her sister's castle, bleeding and broken, only to collapse and die. At first, Dora revels in her new life as queen. But magic, as always, comes with a price. Her beauty begins to fade, her skin wrinkling once more. Terrified of being exposed, she flees the palace before the king can see her true form. And so this story ends as bitterly as it began. Two sisters, desperate for youth and love, destroyed by vanity and lies. One dead, the other forever cursed by the fleeting gift of false beauty. Our final tale takes us to the rocky cliffs of High Hills, where a peculiar king rules. Unlike other monarchs, this man is not consumed by women, war, or wealth. No, his obsession is far stranger. In his chamber, the king keeps a pet flea. Yes, a flea. Tiny, insignificant, and to everyone else, utterly worthless. But to the king, this creature is a source of endless fascination. He feeds it scraps of meat, keeps it hidden, and watches with pride as it grows larger and larger. Soon, this flea becomes monstrous in size, bloated and grotesque, a thing that should not exist. The court whispers, but no one dares question him. The king, blinded by his obsession, grows more detached from his daughter, Princess Violet. She is young, radiant, and longs for a life beyond her father's madness. But she is trapped in his castle, powerless. Eventually, the flea dies. Rather than bury it and move on, the king devises a macabre game. He skins the flea, preserving its enormous hide like a trophy. Then, in front of his court, He announces a challenge. Any man who can correctly identify the origin of this skin will win the hand of his daughter, Princess Violet. Gasps ripple through the hall. Suitors from across the land come forward, eager to claim the princess. Dukes, princes, wealthy lords. All take their turn, but none can solve the riddle. Then, a new figure arrives. An ogre, massive and terrifying, steps before the king. He sniffs the hide, grins, and declares the truth. It is the skin of a flea. The court falls silent. The king's face drains of color. He had never imagined anyone would guess correctly, let alone a monster. But his word is law. Reluctantly, he must keep his promise. Princess Violet is horrified. She pleads with her father, begging him not to send her away. But the king, stubborn and bound by his own foolish challenge, refuses. And so Violet is handed over to the ogre, her future sealed by her father's vanity. The ogre carries her to his lair, a dark cavern hidden deep within the mountains. There, Violet lives in terror. He watches her constantly, guarding her like prey he cannot wait to devour. By day he hunts. By night, he locks her inside, warning her never to try and escape. But Violet is not without courage. One evening, while the ogre is away, she smears her face with blood and ashes, disguising herself as a savage. She slips from the cave and runs. Through forests and rivers she flees, until she stumbles upon a group of circus performers on the road. Desperate, she begs them for help, hiding among their wagons. When the ogre returns to his cave and finds her gone, his rage shakes the mountains. He hunts her relentlessly, sniffing the air, tearing through trees. At last, he finds her among the performers. Violet screams for help, but the ogre slaughters the circus folk with ease, crushing them one by one. He drags Violet back to his lair, his patience gone. The princess knows her death is near. She prays, silently, for deliverance. And just as the ogre raises his blade, a knight arrives. He has been searching for the missing princess, guided by whispers of her abduction. A brutal fight breaks out. Steel clashes against stone skin. The knight strikes again and again, until at last, the ogre collapses, defeated. Violet is saved. The knight carries her away from the nightmare and back to her kingdom. But when she returns, she does not find warmth or joy. Her father, the king, lies on his deathbed, weakened by guilt and sorrow. He dies shortly after, leaving Violet as the new ruler of High Hills. Her reign is marked by wisdom, shaped by her suffering. She learns what her father never did, that a ruler's duty is to protect their people, not indulge in foolish games. And so the final tale ends, a daughter rescued, a monster slain, and a kingdom reborn from the ashes of a king's obsession.